It's recording. Alright, cool. So, my name is Kate, and today I'm gonna watch Buzzfeed Unsolved, and I wanted to film my reaction in the off chance that there might be a good reaction, because this Buzzfeed Unsolved is about something that actually happened in Australia. I saw like the preview, and it was about this family called the Tromp family, and I didn't really keep up with the news very much, which some people say is a very bad thing, but I hadn't really heard this story, so I was like, oh, it's in Australia, they're talking about something in Australia, and and it's Buzzfeed Unsolved, which pretty much Buzzfeed Unsolved and the Warford series, to me, are the best series that Buzzfeed has, and the Try Guys. They're pretty great too. But yeah, anyway, I'm gonna watch this episode of The Bizarre Road Trip of a Missing Family, Buzzfeed Unsolved, and let's get underway. Ooh, is that remote? There it is.
This one happened recently, and believe me, I doesn't even begin to describe this one. It's very strange.
My interest is piqued.
Really?
Yeah.
You said that with a complete dead face, so I can never tell I'm being serious.
My interest is piqued. Is that better?
Nope, that wasn't better. Let's get into it. On Monday, August 29th, 2016.
That was last year.
Australia. 51-year-old Mark Tromp and 53-year-old Jenolan Tromp, along with their 3 children, 29-year-old Rihanna, 25-year-old Mitchell, and 22-year-old Ella, all inexplicably fled their farm. This strange family road trip would set into motion a hunt for the family that would captivate Australian media. Local police sergeant
and yet I missed it.
Quote, the most bizarre case in 30 years, end quote.
30 years.
Were baffled as to why the Tromp family simply ran away from their home. The seemingly healthy and stable Mark and Jacoba Tromp ran an earth-moving business, along with a berry farm, where all of their children worked 7 days a week.
They're making their kids work 7 days a week? My parents would maybe be like, empty the dishwasher on a Thursday, and I'd be like, this is bullshit.
It is excessive. I guess I'd run away from my parents if they...
I am still recording, aren't I?
Especially if I was shoveling horse shit, moving dirt.
I saw this part in the preview, so...
I'd set the barn on fire and throw a...
Aware of Shane's,
flee this country.
Later, when police investigated their home, they found the following: mobile phones, passports, and credit cards. The trip, it appeared, was meant to be cash only, and quote, off the grid, end quote.
I mean, I've gone on some spur-of-the-moment vacations.
You strike me as one of those idiots who likes to put their phone down and go walk into the woods and experience nature and all that bullshit.
Absolutely not.
Get eaten by a bear.
No, that's not me at all.
Either way, leaving your house in this day and age without your phone, without your credit cards, that's already a death sentence. You can't.
By the way, Ryan is my favorite. I can't remember what they called. Was it Rhinosaur? No, it's not that. They changed it.
The 22-year-old Ella's Peugeot SUV. They drove for the first day and night till they reached Bathurst.
What? Whoa. Okay, I know you. Okay. It's Bathurst. And that's really creepy because that's literally the next town over. I'm not going to say the town I live in, but if you go in a particular road for 40 minutes, literally the next town is Bathurst. That's freaky. Oh, if they mention the town I live in, I'm going to be like, why didn't I hear about this? I'm just really bad at keeping up with the news. It's Bathurst. Ryan! I know, next you're going to say Melbourne or something if that comes up. No. Sorry.
Like the rest of his family, 25-year-old Mitchell Tromp brought his cell phone.
Mitchell. You traitor. You're a traitor to the Tromp clan.
It seems he didn't want to disconnect. Or he was thinking, maybe one of us needs to keep our sanity here.
My family's insane.
Exactly. However, roughly 19 miles into their trip near Warburton, his parents forced him to throw his phone out the window because they were convinced it was being used to track them. If your parents told you at age 25 to throw your phone out the window, would you do it?
No.
He did.
This is what happens when you live on a farm.
Okay, what wide generalization are you going to make about people on farms?
I just think you got to read some culture, watch some 2.5 Men, I don't care. Just connect to popular, media and know what the world is thinking. Otherwise, you go nuts.
Yeah, because nothing says sanity and civilization like a Red Robin, right?
They have bottomless
Red Robin?
onion rings.
They do have bottomless fries there.
What?
Yeah.
The next
What?
day, on Tuesday,
What was it? One, what's a Red Robin? I'm guessing that's a fast food thing.
Just think you got to read some culture. Watch
I
some
went back
2.5
too far,
Men.
sorry.
I don't care. Just connect
Yeah.
to popular media and know what the world is thinking. Otherwise, you go nuts.
Yeah, because nothing says sanity and civilization like a Red Robin, right?
They have bottomless onion rings.
They do have bottomless fries.
Bottomless onion rings? As in lots of onion rings? I don't know, onion rings aren't really that big here. At least not anywhere I've been to. You can't, you don't usually see onion rings on the menu when you go on to, like, dine at places. Bottomless fries. Does bottomless mean just as much as you can eat? I'm guessing that's what that means. We don't really call them fries either, they're called chips. So I'm kind of confused.
The next day, on Tuesday, August 30th, Mitchell left the family around 7 a.m.
Oh.
The family later headed out from Bathurst toward the Jenolan caves.
Ah!
At the Jenolan
Sorry. Don't want to disturb the neighbors. Jenolan Caves is a really popular and pretty close tourist destination to where I live. Like, I've been there probably, like, I don't know how many times in my life. Because they're really just really beautiful, gorgeous caves. It's a big, pretty big tourist destination. What? Now I'm like, holy crap, they might actually mention the town I live in.
caves,
find out.
Rihanna and Ella broke off from the family by stealing a car. They drove this car to Goulburn, where
Oh,
they reported
okay.
their parents as missing.
Not where I live.
But from there, Ella and Rihanna strangely split up. Rihanna Tromp was found in the back of Keith Whitaker's Ford F-250. He was driving when he felt a kick. When he came to a stop, Whitaker called the police. Rihanna was catatonic and did not know her name or location.
This actually happened. He was driving, he felt a little kick. He's like, oh, I must have not tied
It
down
was
the
a
gear.
girl who didn't know her own name. How scary is that?
You don't think you'd be scared if you went into your truck bed and you looked and there was a girl and she was just like,
I'd probably be like, get out of my truck bed.
and she was fine. Would you touch her? Would you think, oh, she's turning into a zombie? Is she?
No, because I'm not an idiot.
Ella Tromp actually made it back home by Tuesday night, and the police were already there. When police began to investigate the Tromp home, the place was unlocked and in disarray. According to the Daily Telegraph, police found evidence that the Tromps had gone through years of their farm's financial...
That's a super popular, like, that's like the #1 newspaper in Australia. Although I have become critical of it in recent years because I find it tends to be very conservative in its views and just like not the best quality newspaper. I'm very critical of the Daily Telegraph these days.
records shortly before leaving. There were several piles of documents throughout the home, including passports and credit cards of every family member as mentioned before. An officer is quoted saying, quote, "The piles were very ordered, and they were clearly looking for something," end quote.
How much trouble could a family of farmers get into?
Oh, pretty fair amount of trouble, my friend.
$1,000 and the bear down the street.
The bear down the street.
Bear, what?
Neighbors, right? Like a bear that lives in a little cave.
Farmers and bears don't mix.
This
There's
is
no bears
This
on
is
ours.
clearly a cartoonish
We
example
don't
of
really
it.
have bears
Oh, yeah,
here.
a cartoon. I've never even seen a cartoon where there's a bear on a farm.
There's Goldilocks and the three bears.
There's nothing in that story about the bears owning cows or chickens or going out and milking something.
Were you not picturing a farm in your head when you were
No,
thinking
it's just bears in the woods.
that could be a farm.
It's not a farm. It's just bears that own a house. They're eating porridge.
One day later, on Wednesday, August 31st, Mitchell Tromp, the first Tromp sibling to break off from the family, arrived home via the train. Meanwhile, his parents Mark and Jacoba Tromp drove to Wangaratta and also separated. Jacoba headed north, while Mark remained in Wangaratta, where it is believed that Mark is linked to a case where a young couple was dangerously tailgated by a car of the same make and color that Mark was driving on Wednesday night around 10 p.m. The couple was playing Pokemon Go at the time. The young man driving is quoted saying, "I could barely see his headlights because he was that close to my car," end quote.
I imagine this is a little bit more than they bargained for when they were trying to find that Pikachu, but it's serious tailgating.
That's some shitty driving.
When the young man pulled the car over, the car tailgating them would also stop. They claimed that eventually, Mr. Tromp got out of the car and ran towards them, but he stopped in the middle of the road and stared at them. He then walked into Wangaratta's Marawa Park and disappeared.
That's fucking terrifying.
How scary is it? You just lock your door. You're in a car, drive away. That's not that scary. And then, you know, if the doors don't work and it starts breaking the window, then guess what? Time to die. That's a bummer. At that point, it's like, I'm dead. I guess I don't have anything else to worry about.
So, at what point does the fear come in for you?
About when the life is draining out of my body.
Police searched the park, but no one was found. The car still had the keys in the ignition. In an effort to track down Mark Tromp, the police investigated Miller's Cottage Motel in Wangaratta, where a room had been broken into. They believed he might have stayed there for the night. On Thursday, September 1st, Mrs. Tromp took public transportation to Yass and tried to book a motel in the city. Allegedly, a member of the public helped escort her to a hospital in Yass, where the hospital staff recognized her and called the police.
If a woman comes up and is trying to rent a hotel room and she doesn't have ID,
And you're at
she's paying
McDonald's.
cash, and she's like, "Oh, I don't know where I am or what my name is," I'd be like, "Okay, why don't you just take a seat?
Yeah.
Make some phone calls."
It's true. It's true.
It's very kind of them.
It's kind.
Look out for your fellow man and lady.
On Saturday, September 3rd, 5 days after first leaving his home, Mark Tromp was found wandering down a road in Wangaratta around 5:50 p.m. He was promptly questioned by the police and given a mental health assessment. He spent 5 hours at the station before he was escorted out by a family member and gave the waiting media the finger. Though, Mark would later publicly apologize for, quote, "the hurt and concern caused by these events," end quote.
Rude of him to act like it's no big deal. Of course people want to know what the hell's going on with you.
Oh yeah, excuse the public for wondering about your safety, sir.
It does make me realize I don't give people the middle finger enough. Like if someone's like, "Hey, you want to grab some salads for lunch today?" Be like,
It's meaner without the noise.
"Oh," so it's just kind of be like,
That's better. That's better, sir. Yeah, that's not how Adam Sandler made his career.
"Yeah, basically."
Basically, by making fart noises and funny faces.
The next day, Mitchell and Ella appear before media, thanking police and media for finding their father. They do not go into detail about what happened, and essentially state that they are still perplexed by it.
Weird that they just go along with it. I guess they're their parents, but you know, it's a long road trip. Can you imagine them just in the back seat kind of exchanging glances with each other like, "What's Dad doing?"
Well, one of them seems like he was the only one who was not on board. So imagine his plight.
Yeah.
He's in the back. He's like, you know, when you're in a situation, you're like, this is dumb, and you try to give someone a look like a, what are we doing? And they don't give you anything. And they're like,
If he just turned to the sisters.
he's just like, and they're like, and you're just like, oh, I guess I'll go fuck myself then. What's weird to me is the fact that after the fact, they don't know what happened still. They're still confused.
Considering that the family had no history of mental illness, and also the fact that Sergeant Mark Knight, who worked on the investigation, says there was no sign of the family using drugs, having outstanding debts, or being part of a church or cult. Many have wondered what triggered the family to simply leave their home, and furthermore, what prompted each member to leave individually. That being said, let's get into the theories.
Theory
The
time.
first theory
Yeah.
is that the Tromps were poisoned by an environmental toxin on their farm, causing them to have bizarre delusions. But there doesn't seem to be anything else to back this theory up.
Mold. That's all I got. Some moldy Cheerios, maybe some bad cheese. I don't know
Yeah,
what else.
bad cheese. That's the thing. I don't know if it would do this.
The second theory is just internet speculation, that perhaps the mob had been involved. Maybe there was truly somebody after the Tromp family, so they skipped town. At one point, the entire family had planned to flee the country if necessary. They had changed their minds because they decided it was possible that their passports would be tracked.
I just love that. The only reason why they didn't leave the country was like, oh, we could do that, but they're going to track our passports. Not, you think there's a little weird. They were just leaving our country.
They wanted to go somewhere where technology couldn't reach them. Credit cards and traceable items were clearly left behind. And if you recall, an officer did note that, quote, they were clearly looking for something, end quote. However, if they were truly fearful for their lives, it's a bit strange that Mark and Jacoba Tromp would allow their kids to leave the car. Which, in my opinion, makes this theory unlikely.
Yeah, I agree.
You need to let them leave, though, or do the kids bolt?
You would think that if your kids bolted, you wouldn't be like, gotta press on.
Well, unless the kids ran, like they stopped at a rest stop, kids ran and hid somewhere and then proceeded to run away. Then guess, what are you going to do then?
You're gonna go find your kids.
Not if I'm trying to get off the grid. Off the grid, no more kids.
They'd be very selfish parents at that point, in my opinion. If you thought your family was in danger enough to take them away from the home, why not go after them if you think you're truly being, tracked?
Well, they don't seem like they make good decisions, Ryan.
I'm just saying. That's what this theory doesn't make sense. I guess, I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
The third theory is that the family collectively suffered from a delusion called folie à deux. It is a rare psychological condition that can affect close families. The term was coined after a French married couple that began exhibiting delusional and paranoid behavior. The couple believed that their home was targeted by people who would spread dust and lint throughout their home while wearing the couple's shoes as they slept.
How did this dust get here?
They must have been wearing our shoes and doing a little dance at night. I just think of all the delusions you could have. That's the most funny and harmless one.
Though doctors were unsure who first began the delusional behavior, it was clear that they were reinforcing each other's paranoia. Over 90% of cases of folie à deux have been couples, parents and children, and siblings. Media coverage later revealed that Jacoba and Mark Tromp had been showing increasing signs of mental stress. Allegedly, one of them believed that someone was out to rob them and kill them. When asked what had possibly triggered the trip, Ella stated, quote, "It is very confusing. I still feel confused. I think our state of minds wasn't in the best place, and there's no one reason for it. It's bizarre." End quote. In the end, the perplexing Trump excursion covered almost 1,000 miles with no definitive answer as to why, leaving the case, for now, unsolved.
Alright, well, once again we've solved nothing. That was fun.
That was a good one. Good yarn.
It was a good yarn.
Fun to do a little story without so much,
Death.
death.
See, you know what's good about this one? It's unsolved, but the people are still walking around breathing.
Yeah, it's just some shenanigans.
Yeah. Do you think you could become part of a shared delusion, or do you
I think so.
Really?
Yeah, I think it creeps up on you, Ryan.
I don't think so.
I think so.
Anytime I've ever offered even a little bit of a delusional thought, you immediately shut it down.
It's
No
true.
one thinks they're susceptible to shared delusions, and then it happens. The people who are, victim to that probably think they're fine. They don't know what's happening.
What if we're in a shared delusion right now? What if we think we're talking to cameras and we're doing an episode of Buzzfeed Unsolved, when in fact, we're actually not doing that at all?
What if no one's watching this? Is
I
it
am.
all in our mind?
It could be. This could be the most elaborate delusion of all. And we're talking about shared delusion, which in term is actually a weird delusional loop.
Okay. That was cool. Very interesting. I don't know. I don't know which theory, like, the mob, the second one was interesting with the whole mob. I don't know about if, say, the mob got involved. Maybe more like, yeah, some kind of an enemy that they felt was powerful enough that they had to run away from, like the mob. Yeah, like I could kind of see that, for being off the grid. But then the whole, like, it could have been just one big, the third theory with the big delusion sounds unusually plausible as well. That there was no real threat, but they felt like there was. Yeah, I don't know. And yeah, it is weird that they're still walking around today, and yet we still don't have any true answers, so there you go. Oh, and my town didn't get mentioned, so that was funny. But yeah, cool. Very enjoyable. And I still think Ryan is the best. Still love Sean though, because he's pretty funny, and he adds a lot. He said a lot of random things though. It's like, where do you get this stuff? You're so imaginative. Alright, that was good. I enjoyed that. Alright, my name is Kate, and I just reacted to a Buzzfeed Unsolved episode and filmed it specifically because it was in Australia and I wanted to hear them talk about it, so... Alright, I'm signing off. Catch you later. Bye.